Welcome to Walk and Learn, your absolute shortcut to being incredibly well-informed, even when you're just, well, walking. Today, we're plunging headfirst into the exhilarating high-octane world of Formula One. When you see these incredible athletes pushing multi-million-dollar machines to their absolute limit, hurtling around tracks at mind-boggling speeds, do you ever stop to wonder? What truly makes an F1 driver elite in today's era? What's going on behind that visor, deep in the cockpit and within their very being that sets them apart? We're embarking on a fascinating journey today, looking at how the F1 driver and their formidable skill set has dramatically transformed over the last 3 decades. Specifically from 1994, a pivotal year for the sport, right up to the present day in 2025. It's an astonishing story of human and technological evolution working, well, hand in hand. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission is to understand how relentless technological advancements, monumental safety improvements, and a new era of intense professionalization have collectively reshaped the very definition of what it means to be an F1 driver. Get ready for some insights that might just change how you watch a race.
It's an absolutely compelling topic, and you've hit on the core of it perfectly. This isn't just a simple linear progression from good to better, not at all. We're talking about a complex interplay of factors that have fundamentally redefined the role. I mean, if you look back to, say, the early 90s, training was almost an afterthought compared to today. Drivers were largely relying on raw talent and a kind of rugged self-sufficiency. Fast forward to now, and every aspect of a driver's performance, from their diet to their mental conditioning, is meticulously data-driven and scientifically optimized. The transformation truly is profound.
And speaking of that profound transformation, let's kick things off with perhaps the most visible and dramatic shift: the sheer physicality required to compete at this level. When you think about what driver training involved 30 years ago versus the comprehensive, almost futuristic athletic programs we see today, can you even begin to picture the difference? It's huge.
Oh, the contrast is stark, almost unbelievable. In the 1990s, the focus for drivers was pretty basic conditioning. We're talking about strengthening the neck, shoulders, and core muscles primarily to withstand the G-forces, right? But it was far from the holistic approach we see now. There's a story, maybe apocryphal, maybe not, of some drivers in that era just running a few miles a week or playing a bit of football as their training. Seriously. It wasn't until a key turning point, often cited as Pedro de la Rosa's debut in 1998, that fitness really became a non-negotiable standard requirement for F1 drivers. He was known for his rigorous physical preparation, and it started to shift the paradigm. People noticed.
Right, so one driver raises the bar and suddenly everyone else has to catch up.
Exactly. But fast forward to the present, and F1 drivers are universally and rightly regarded as among the fittest athletes on the planet, no question. Their training regimes are comprehensive athletic programs, often tailored by individual physios and performance coaches. It's incredibly specific. We're talking about specific diet regimens designed for peak cognitive and physical performance, and crucially, a huge emphasis on recovery. This isn't just about going hard, it's about balancing that intensity with precise recovery protocols, sleep science, massage, cryotherapy, you name it, all to avoid burnout and maintain peak performance across the longest seasons in championship history. I mean, imagine the demands on their cardiovascular system, sustaining incredibly high heart rates for 2 hours, all while resisting forces that feel like an elephant sitting on your chest. It's brutal.
It truly highlights the grueling test of human endurance and strength that F1 demands. And with today's seasons being the longest in championship history, more races, more travel, more pressure, physical exhaustion isn't just a minor factor, it's a major player. A major player in his divinity who performs at their peak come the end of the year. Think about a race like Singapore, with its incredible heat and humidity, or Monaco, where the mental focus is just relentless. It's not just about raw speed anymore, is it? It's about sustaining that speed lap after lap, race after race, for an entire, unforgiving year.
Precisely. Stamina and resilience are just as critical as outright pace now.
Okay, so beyond the physical demands, the cockpit itself has transformed, demanding a completely different kind of mental agility thanks to an explosion of data. This leads us to our next big point: technology. It truly feels like the sport has shifted from what was once pure, almost intuitive driving instinct to an almost entirely data-driven precision. How big a role does data play in shaping what a driver needs to do to be competitive today?
You've hit on one of the most revolutionary aspects, absolutely. Telemetry fundamentally changed skill requirements by making the invisible visible. Simple as that. While we see its full impact today, the seeds were sown much earlier. Burst telemetry, for example, was introduced back in the late 1980s. This allowed engineers to receive crucial data, things like engine RPM, throttle position, gear selection, in short bursts, minutes before a car even returned to the pits. For its time, that was groundbreaking. Before that, engineers relied mostly on driver debriefs and, looking at the car during pit stops for any information. Now they could start forming strategies before the driver even spoke. It began to shift the reliance from solely driver feel to quantifiable feedback.
So it was the beginning of that shift, away from pure intuition.
Yes, exactly the start. But compare that early stuff to now. Modern F1 cars have over 300 sensors. 300. They're continuously monitoring literally everything you can imagine, from minute fluctuations in tire temperatures across different parts of the tread to engine performance parameters, aerodynamic downforce readings at various points on the car, suspension travel, brake wear, fuel flow, even the driver's heart rate and breathing. It's mind-blowing. This isn't just some data. This big data in AI represents the single most revolutionary shift in how drivers operate, how teams strategize, and how talent is even identified and nurtured. It touches everything.
Wow. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Telemetry isn't just collecting numbers, right? It quantifies every single tiny aspect of performance in astonishing detail. We're talking about the exact speed at which they approach a corner, the braking force applied millisecond by millisecond, how much throttle is deployed, and precisely when. The car is balanced through different parts of a turn, all with one objective: to find those microscopic improvements that add up to faster lap times. It takes the guesswork out, replacing it with cold, hard, irrefutable facts. I mean, imagine a driver reviewing data that shows they're consistently braking just 5 meters too early into turn 3, costing them 1/10 of a second each lap. Data now allows them to pinpoint that with absolute certainty, not just a feeling they might have.
Exactly. That's the power of it. Data analysis doesn't just inform race strategies. It fundamentally transforms race performance and shapes future approaches, right down to how a driver trains in a simulator and practices on track. Drivers are now required to integrate this feedback seamlessly. It's part of the job. They spend hours post-session analyzing their data against teammates' data, looking for those tiny nuances, those little advantages. This isn't just about raw speed anymore. It's about having a highly analytical mind that can understand the implications of a pressure trace or a G-force reading as much as the feel of the car itself. It requires a completely different cognitive skill set compared to 30 years ago.
A different kind of intelligence, almost.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to a critical factor that ties all of this together and in some ways enables the extremes we're discussing: safety. How has the profound evolution of safety in F1 changed how drivers approach racing? Has it allowed them to push boundaries that were once considered not just impossible, but frankly, suicidal?
Yeah. It's undeniable. The massive and continuous safety improvements have been the silent enabler. Absolutely. They've allowed drivers to push limits previously considered, quite frankly, unthinkable. There's been a dramatic and relentless evolution in safety standards across this entire 30-year period, transforming the sport entirely. And we're not just talking about minor tweaks here. We're talking about fundamental, game-changing innovations.
Like what specifically?
Well, think about specific milestones. The harness device, which protects the head and neck, became mandatory in F1 in 2003. That was a direct response to some of the tragic accidents of the preceding decade. Huge step. More recently, the controversial but undeniably life-saving Halo cockpit protection device was introduced in 2018. We've seen how many times that's already proven its worth. Then there's the continuous evolution of the carbon fiber monocoque chassis, designed to dissipate massive impact energy. It's incredibly strong now. Plus, improved energy-absorbing barriers like the Tech Pro system and stricter track design regulations, it all adds up. By the end of the 1990s, safety standards rose dramatically in what marked the second major safety improvement in 20 years at that point, largely driven by the tragic events of 1994. These game-changing safety milestones and life-saving advancements have fundamentally reshaped motorsport standards and, crucially, driver protection. When you know the car and the track are safer, it changes your psychological approach entirely. You're simply less afraid to find the absolute ragged edge of performance.
Right, that makes sense. And while the sport is never going to be completely without risk, I mean, it's still racing at phenomenal speeds.
Of course.
It is vastly, incredibly improved. That directly impacts a driver's confidence and their willingness to explore the absolute edge of performance. They know the car can handle more, that the structures around them are designed for survival. This psychological shift allows them to push themselves harder with a greater assurance that if something goes wrong, they have a much better chance of walking away. It's the ultimate enabler for the relentless pursuit of speed.
It really is. It underpins everything else we've talked about.
So if you combine this intense, scientifically optimized physicality, this hyper-data-driven precision, and this heightened, almost unprecedented level of safety, what kind of driver emerges from that mix? What truly defines the modern F1 superstar in 2025?
What emerges is what we might call a hybrid driver, a truly unique athlete. Modern F1 drivers must master incredibly complex technical systems while still maintaining that pure, raw, instinctive driving skill that makes them exceptional. It's both. It's no longer enough to just be naturally fast. You have to be a technical maestro, a real-time analyst, and an energy manager all at once.
Yeah.
All under immense physical and mental pressure.
Can you give some specifics? Like, what are they actually doing in the car besides steering and pedals?
Oh, absolutely. Let's get specific. Drivers are now required to manage onboard car setup tweaks throughout a race, often on command from their engineers, but also proactively based on feel and data. This includes things like adjusting brake bias, shifting the braking force balance between front and rear axles, which needs constant updating for tire wear, fuel load, even different corners. It's not set and forget. They manage the differential settings, optimizing traction out of slow corners. That's crucial for lap time. And, critically, the energy recovery system, or ERS. This is about deploying precious electrical energy for overtakes or defending, while also managing how much kinetic energy they harvest back from braking. It's a constant balancing act. They are constantly using telemetry, not just for post-race analysis, but interpreting real-time data on their steering wheel display to find minute lap time improvements or adapt to changing track conditions. Imagine being at 200 miles per hour, pulling Gs, and simultaneously doing the mental calculus of an engineer. It's a mind-boggling task.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, watching a race? It means it's no longer just about raw talent and courage, though those are still absolutely essential.
Absolutely. Foundational.
But it's also about a deep, almost symbiotic understanding of the car as an extension of themselves, combined with the ability to process and act on a constant stream of complex information under the most extreme pressure imaginable. It's truly incredible. You're watching a physical specimen, a data analyst, and a tactical strategist all rolled into one, operating at the absolute pinnacle of human and machine performance.
Well put. That captures it perfectly.
As we wrap up this walk and learn, it's incredibly clear we've explored an astonishing evolution, from drivers with relatively basic physical conditioning to peak multifaceted athletes, from largely relying on instinct and feel to embracing hyper-data-driven precision, and how the dramatic, continuous improvements in safety not only save lives, but also allow these bolder, more advanced driving techniques and the relentless pursuit of speed to even exist. The F1 driver of today is a testament to what's possible when human potential meets cutting-edge technology.
Absolutely. The F1 driver of today is a uniquely multifaceted athlete, a rare blend of physical prowess that pushes human limits, technical mastery of incredibly complex machines, and unparalleled mental fortitude to perform under unimaginable pressure. It's been a complete transformation over these last 3 decades, creating what is arguably the most demanding and technically sophisticated sporting role in the world. They are truly in a league of their own.
Thank you for joining us on this Walk and Learn. It really makes you consider the incredible adaptability and evolution required at the very pinnacle of motorsport, doesn't it? It's a continuous quest for the edge.
It truly does, and it raises an important question for you to ponder as you go about your day. Given the profound changes we've seen in just 3 decades in physical conditioning, in technology, and in safety, what new, unforeseen challenges and advancements do you think will define the F1 driver of the next 30 years? What new skills might they need to master to stay at the very top, and what might that look like for the future of motorsport? Food for thought.